Hey everybody, this is Jason Tondro, and I am our GM for our first episode of the Star Wars game, and I am using the Fantasy Flight game systems. I know we have a lot of fans out there of the old Saga editions and all the West End games, and there's been a lot of Star Wars games over the years, but I got kind of excited about Star Wars when the new trilogy started to come out, and Last Jedi just came out about a week or two ago, and I'm still pretty hyped over it. So I called up a bunch of my old friends and said, let's play Star Wars, and they were like, in. Okay, so we all made characters, and I forgot to record that, so bad on me, and we're going to start off the first session tonight. So I thought I would just kind of let everybody introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about the characters. Start with Jeremiah.
Hello, I am Jeremiah, and I'm playing as Bruce Gory. And Bruce is an Ithorian technician. At the temple, he is not a force specialist. He is a member of the support staff, an elderly gentleman Ithorian who is tasked with maintenance duties and generally helping take care of all of the needs of the monks.
What is your pet droid, Jeremiah? What's his name?
He is D4PS. I'll add that in for log here. And he is affectionately known as Daps.
Okay. Jim?
So it's a Buzz Droid.
Yeah.
And Bruce's other equipment, as he is the sort of Chewbacca of the team, is that he has a bowcaster.
Jim?
Yes, I'm Jim Seals, and I will be playing Doran Zoln, who is a human guardian protector with the drinking problem.
Props. Yes. Very good. Amber?
I'm Amber, and I'll be playing Aliana Kor, who is a young Twi'lek Jedi Force user type person. She's going to be the healer.
Robert.
All right, I am Robert. Will be playing Meridian Starsend, and she is a retired Republic non-commissioned officer. The most notable thing about her would probably be she has the cybernetic brain implant thing from The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
so that kind of sticks out.
What was that character's name, Robert? Do you remember?
Lobot.
Lobot. That was
it.
That.
I had the action figures, so that's most of my knowledge is action figures. And I had a Lobot.
So Meridian, she also has a cybernetic arm. Is it her right or her left?
It's her left arm. In the description, it actually says that it's not super noticeable. It has like some kind of synth skin on it.
Okay, very good. Can we hear you? Robert, you are muted.
He just texted that he lost sound for some reason.
Uh-oh. Well, you're muted. Let's see. You can get him back up. Chad, would you like to go while Robert tries to work on his tech?
Sure, my name's Chad, and I am playing Hat Gath, a Zabrak monk, and I am a warrior Shicho knight, and so I'm more of the balanced force user that's seeking balance to the force.
Let's see if we can get Robert back. Let's see. Okay, it's back. Oh, great. All right, so Robert, you can hear us now?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Oh, very good. Excellent. Robert, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Yes, I'm Robert Smith. I'll be playing a human scoundrel named Diesel Jax.
Affectionately referred to as Clint Eastwood in space.
Yes. Exactly. He's a human smuggler gunslinger.
Spacewood?
Spacewood.
Spacewood.
Exactly.
That should be the name of the ship.
Clint. Speaking of which, do you have a name for the ship yet, Jax?
I do not. Yeah, I was supposed to work on that, but life happened.
Well, you don't have to have a name for it yet, but we will be seeing it before the end of the session tonight, so you probably ought to think of one.
No problemo. Oh, actually, yep, I have a name. Never mind.
Oh, what's it called?
The Mariposa.
Spell that.
It's
Put it in the chat window.
yeah. I want to make sure I spell it right.
Sure.
I think it might just be. But yeah, it's a Clint Eastwood reference.
Okay.
But yeah.
So spell it. How do you spell it?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking it up right now.
All right, we'll give you time to look it up. Take off the time pressure. All right. We have like a bunch of online resources for this game, which I'll link. Oh, I see. Mariposa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mariposa. And what is that from?
So it's actually it's a river by where Clint Eastwood grew up, but it's also the name of his production company.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, your ship is here. That's the website for it, and it gives a picture and maps.
Sweet.
Okay, so we have a bunch of online resources for this, including a wiki, which I'm just barely developing. It doesn't have the Please See stats on it yet, but it has some other information on it, including the background. And I'll link that in the show notes for the game, so that anybody who's watching can check it out.
No, you can pick something up on your way home though.
Oh, we just heard you. Okay. So when we pick up, as the players all know this, you guys are some of you are currently, others have been, and others of you are not yet affiliated with the Monks of Umno. And the Monks of Umno, and you know this from the background that I sent out when we were first throwing around ideas for the game, is a blatant ripoff of Asimov's Second Foundation, which is that when the Jedi Order was founded 1,000 generations ago, in that wonderfully vague phrase, there were some who felt that by being public, by being an obvious organization in the universe, in the galaxy, the Jedi were inevitably going to attract intractable enemies, or just collapse by their own, by social pressure. And so a group of monks who were basically on the same track as the Jedi, like they agreed with what the Jedi were trying to do, their difference was only about methods, withdrew, led by a guy named Ran. To find his first name. Grandmaster Ran. I don't have his first name. Galio Ran. Galio Ran led these Force users, early Force users, away, and they founded a second order, which was, again, basically in sympathy with the Jedi, but devoted to waiting for the inevitable day when the Jedi would collapse, when the Jedi would be no more. And when that happened, this second order, which called themselves the Monks of Umno after the planet where they settled, a water world, the Circle of Umno, would arise and carry on the Jedi's mandate, but their own way. And that way, and the main difference that they have with the Jedi is in their priorities, which the number one priority is to remain hidden. They're more, you think of them as Jedi ninja, and you're pretty close to what their idea are in terms of their operations. And there's a 20,000 year history to the Circle of Uno, during which they have remained hidden for all of that time. And this is why we have no records of them, why they never show up in any of the historical documents, because their number one priority is remaining hidden. And they have developed contingency plans, and they have all of these algorithms that plot out future events based on psychosocial mechanisms and so on. And they try to predict the future both through AIs and through the Force. So we're gonna, some of you guys already know about the Circle and work with them. For example, Bruce, who's currently working for the Circle and has been working with the Circle most of his life. Aliana, you're also working for the Circle now. You're part of the Circle, part of the monks there. You were rescued from slavery about 10 years ago, right?
Yep, that's right.
And that was on your homeworld, right? Which is Ryloth.
Ryloth, yes.
Several of the PCs were there in that battle, which I am intentionally leaving vague until we go back to it in a big flashback.
Okay.
But for now, what we do know is that Bruce was there. Zorn was there. Basically, all the characters that were old enough to be there. Meridian was there.
Okay.
And of course, you were there because you were 9.
Right.
But the younger characters, like Hack and Dessel, were not there.
Okay.
Okay. But many of the PCs were there on that mission. Now, you don't know where all of them are anymore. Like Meridian, she was in the Republic Army. And she went off to do Army stuff. And you probably never saw her after that day. But she was there. Doran, you knew, and he was a great warrior monk in the Circle. Then he became a drunkard, and it was right around that time that his daughter was killed and his husband was killed. And he couldn't tolerate the sight of you because you reminded him too much of his dead daughter, and he started to drink, and you haven't seen him in years. He's been gone from Uno for years.
Okay.
But Bruce is still here. Like and Jeremiah, you once described Bruce as sort of the
said half Alfred, half C-3PO.
Yeah, I was trying to think of Alfred. Yeah, for some reason, it's just typical for me. I suddenly blanked on a character that I've known since I was 7. But yeah, he's sort of the Alfred of the party. So you've known Bruce for a long time. But we're gonna pick up. Robert, I see you in the chat window trying to roll dice. We're gonna need a dice. You're gonna need a dice roller. I'll show you the one I've got, and you can use it here. That should get you the dice that you need. Now, you weren't here when we did the chat about how to roll and interpret the dice, so we'll probably have to walk through a little bit of that, but we'll get to that one step at a time. All right, so when the screen lights up, what we see is dozens of monks in black robes kneeling on the ground in what looks like a rock garden. And they're all silent, and they're all head bowed, and they're all human or alien. They're all bald or hairless. And there's a lot of aliens in this in this group of monks. You see, for example, Nautolan, Mon Calamari, the Chagrian, and Aqualish. For those of you that are Star Wars fans, these are all aquatic or amphibious races because Uno is a water world. It's always had a large population of amphibious or aquatic visitors. And they're all in the same monastic group. They're all completely silent. They're all just had their heads down, and they all appear to be sort of sitting there in this monastery, like an open area with columns. There's a ceiling, a high ceiling over the room, and doors which are closed mostly. The doors are a little bit open as people who are sort of hovering outside are eavesdropping on this silent assemblage of monks. One of those people staring in through a half-open door is the Ithorian, the aging Ithorian, Bruce Gouri. At the front of the room, facing all of these about 40 monks who are all the masters of Umno, is an ancient old woman, and she's also dressed in a simple black robes with a little bit of orange, sort of flash, and she is just looking at all of them, and then after a few moments, they all lift their heads up, and she says, "So, we are in agreement then." And she looks up and she sees Bruce, and she meets eyes with him and a few of the other people who are hovering by the doors. And she nods to him. And Bruce, you know that you have instructions to start gathering field agents together for missions. That the monks of Umno the masters have been in debate. This is how they debate. It's all, there's no spoken. The monks don't need to speak to each other when they're in debate. That they have been debating for some time now whether or not the time has come to finally act. The time for watching versus the time for action. And you know that for a few years now, everyone has been waiting for Skywalker he's been training Jedi on the training temple, but recently he vanished. And there have been rumors. You're not a Force user, so you're not a monk, but you have overheard that he is believed to be dead, or he's just vanished. But whatever he's done, he can no longer be sensed through the Force. And so the debate is either he's unable to respond or he is unwilling to respond. So in either case, it has become time to do something. And they appear to have decided that.
Okay.
So you need to fetch, you have a short list of agents, which begins with Hack, who you know is currently drilling some of the younger monks in the fine art of hand-to-hand combat up in the dojo.
Hey, Bruce will nod. Getting a little bit of an echo there. That's about. Is anyone else hearing that echo?
Well, yeah, because Ithorians have two mouths. When you
I do
talk.
not hear an echo. No.
I do, Jeremiah.
Okay.
You want to log out and come back?
Let me check the settings here.
Sure.
The
get one
echo
there.
seems to disappear.
Okay.
The Wrath of Khan quote did not go by unnoticed.
I happen to love that quote.
Mm-hmm.
It applies to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's going, but I don't seem to hear it any longer. So, okay, Bruce will nod, start shuffling down the hallways. He would be dressed in tan. Actually, yeah, he's got tan robes on. Not as formal, so and he's got brown, heavy boots on.
Okay.
He is currently unarmed. We'll walk in and observe quietly the training going on.
All right. Well, as you walk into the training dojo, you see Hack demonstrating the fine art of how to get your ass handed to you by a higher level monk. So Hack, Chad, you're going to introduce us to how melee combat works in this game, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to give you for a weapon, because we want to not kill anyone in this. We're going to give you a force pike. Okay. So the stats for a force pike are pretty straightforward. It's damage +3. Crit is 2. It's got the traits Pierce 2, so it ignores 2 points of armor, and it has a stun setting. Okay.
So it was damage +2, crit is 2.
I put it in the chat window. It's damage +3.
Okay, damage +3. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. I opened up a notepad, so I didn't realize you were going to put it in the chat window.
That's all very good. All good. Notepad is good. All right, so we're going to roll initiative first. Now, initiative in Star Wars works a little differently than normal, but for here, it's simple enough. Everybody rolls cool.
Okay.
So for Hack, you can figure out what your own what Hack needs to roll. I'm rolling for the monks. There's 4 monks, but they are minions, and they are rolling as a novice. They're rolling as a minion group. Now, for those of you that, let me show you how minions work. Minions are the lowest level of antagonist in Star Wars. And they're not very good unless they have large numbers. So these guys have, they don't have a cool stat. So they're just rolling their, cool is based on presence, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, cool is based on presence.
Yeah, okay, so they have presence of 2. So they're going to roll 2 ability dice. And then Chad will roll for Hack. You'll have to tell us what you got.
I got 1 success and 1 advantage.
Okay, great. Now you're rolling. What are you rolling? What's your cool?
The 1d8. So I have presence of 1. So.
And you don't have the cool stat, the cool skill.
I do not have the cool stat.
Okay, but you got a success, which is more than they got. They got 2 advantages. So your success means that you go first. Okay.
Okay, and then I'm looking. Does off this with the skill stuff? Does that anything apply from this?
I'm sorry. The what with the skill stuff?
So like this, how we have our Star Wars skill helper.
Yes.
And so I have an advantage.
Well,
Just
so yeah, I think for initiative, let me see. It's just your advantages and successes and triumphs mostly factor into breaking ties in.
Yeah, but with the advantages, he can gain additional insight. Is basically what can happen.
Yeah.
A triumph acts as recover strain.
Yeah. So in this case, you did get 1 advantage, and so why don't you ask me a question about them, and I'll tell you something about their abilities or their skills.
We're both using force pikes, correct?
Yes. There's 4 of them. They all have force pikes.
Do I know if he favors a certain style?
These guys are brand new. They've got their stats are like 2 across the board. They do have melee skill, which they'll use as a group. So what that means is that for them, they'll be rolling 2 yellow dice and 1 green die.
Okay.
That's what they'll be rolling in melee.
All right. Well, I don't have any additional questions, so I guess we can go
So
on.
you
the
see
offensive.
that one of them, like you win the initiative, but you see them like one of them starts to come at you, but you get to go first.
Okay. So the one that is acted first.
Yeah.
He's going.
They all go together. The minions will act as a single group.
Okay.
They'll make 1 attack roll, and that 1 attack represents all 4 of them in the inverse ninja rule, which is that the more ninjas there are, the less effective each one is. all of the minions will attack you at once, but they only make 1 attack roll.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll my melee then.
Yeah, go ahead. Now,
And-
your difficulty is 2. You should be adding 2 purple dice for a melee.
2 purple dice? Okay. All right. So with my roll, I have 1 success and 1 advantage.
Okay, great. So add the success to your damage.
Okay. So that will be a 7.
7.
My
okay.
brawn plus.
This is stun. Your force pikes are set to stun. So that means that the damage inflicted is all strain rather than wounds.
It's actually an 8 because my brawn's 4 plus 3 from the force pike. So that's 7 plus 1 from the success
Yes, good.
is 8.
Okay, good. 8. Okay, now, however, minions can't take strain. So when they would take strain, they just take wounds.
Okay.
So that 8 would be reduced by their soak, and their soak is 2. Okay? So he takes 6, and 1 minion can only take 5. So the minion group goes from 20 wounds, which is 5 each times 4 minions is 20 wounds. Minus 6 equals 14. Why don't you describe how you knock out one of the first minion?
The first one,
Yeah,
I'm going to, with the force spike, I'm going to sweep and hook under his leg and throw him on his back, and he'll just go unconscious when his head hits the mat.
Okay, very good. You said you also got one advantage on that?
I did, yes.
Well, it's difficult to use advantages when you're fighting by yourself. Normally, you would give that as a bonus die to whoever goes next, but we'll use it as a penalty die on their turn. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so it's their turn. There's 3 minions left, and they're not going to roll all of their dice now, because when I said that they were rolling 2 yellow and 1 green, that was for a group of 4. As a group of 3, they're not quite as good. So they're going to roll 1 yellow and 2 green. They still have skill. No, I take that back. They have 2 skills. So they're going to roll 2 yellow is all they're going to roll. Yeah, that's right. And then the difficulty means 2 purple die, and they're going to get a penalty die, a black die, because of your advantage. Do you want to describe what your advantage is? Like, this is if you're going to. There's kind of some narrative here, right? So, what do you do that makes them have a hard time attacking you?
So when their friend hit the mat, it interrupted one of their footwork, so he couldn't get in the position as well.
Yeah, they can't do the kata because there's this unconscious body in the way. All right, so we get 2 successes and a threat. So their damage is +2, so they would normally do damage 5. So +2 is 7. What's your soak?
My soak is 5.
Okay, you take 2 strain.
Okay.
But they get a threat, so they get something bad that happens to them. And we'll say that one of them, like he swings his staff and he unbalances himself, and he's like overextended and gives you an easy opening on his back. Okay, so you're going to get a bonus die on your next attack. Okay, all right, your turn.
I'm not sure how to calculate for the strain.
Your starting strain.
13. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Based on your willpower. Yep. Okay. Okay, so it's now your turn.
All right.
And
so
you
now
have 1 bonus die because they left themselves open.
So the bonus die is the
Pale 6-sider.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. And then do I still add in two purple? 2 of the.
The difficulty for a melee attack is always 2.
Okay, perfect. There's my 2. Okay. So I have 4 successes, but I also got a. Let's look and see what the name of it is.
Despair?
I believe so, yes.
The one that's got a circle.
No, I got a threat.
You got a threat. That one looks like the Empire symbol.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, so how many successes?
I had 4.
Okay, so you add that to your damage, and that results in
11.
11. Your soak is 2, so they take 9. So they're going to go from 14 minus 9 is 5.
14 minus 9 is 5, yes.
So you knock out 2 of them. So you want to, but in the process, you give them a small advantage. They're going to get a bonus die. Okay. So you want to explain what you do?
So since their kata was interrupted, I begin mine, and then with an elbow to the face of one, I knock him out,
Okay.
and then with the other one, I just hit him hard enough to knock him to the mat.
Okay.
But since my kata was flawed as well,
Okay.
I almost tripped over the person that I just knocked down,
All right.
and that would give me that would
Too many
create a
bodies
threat,
on the
right?
floor. All right. So as you take care, you almost step on the guy on the ground. There's only 1 minion left, which means he's got only 2 green dice to roll, which is his basic characteristic, his brawl. But he gets a bonus die and then 2 purple dice for the difficulty. Oops, I had one too many rolls. Let's see. There we go. He gets no successes and only one threat, which is bad for him. So you can see him like he steps back. And he's the only one still standing, but he feels like he has to try. So he tries to sort of fake out with the staff, and then he jumps up and tries to kick you in the head, and he misses. And he's sort of floating. He's there in mid kick when it's your action.
All right. Let me see what I get here. All right. So this time I have 3 successes and an advantage. And so as he
Finish it off for us.
as he flies through the air, I swing my force pike just horizontal right into his gut and throw him to the mat with the end of the force pike.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, you see 4 monks straining for breath around you. And you guys can, when you knock someone out, when you defeat someone, you can normally tell me if they are incapacitated or if they are dead. It's really kind of up to you. You're using the stun weapon, so ordinarily they would just be unconscious. But you've also got a lot, as you were describing it. There was also a lot of elbows and kicks and punches and stuff, so it could be anything. But ordinarily, when you knock somebody out, you can decide what happens to them. I presume these guys are all just unconscious and not dead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, they're all unconscious. This was not lethal training. This was let's practice our training.
And you see Bruce looking patiently from the entrance to the dojo.
And is there more students lining the walls, or was it just these 4?
Oh, you were just this is just the fight 4 ninjas and show off how cool Hack is.
Okay. So hello Bruce. Would you like to help me clean up? Because I need to help get these guys so that they're not just laying on the mats.
Bruce will help drag students away. Bruce is good at that. Besides, they're very small. I mean, kind of pokes on with this big Ithorian finger.
Okay. Chad, we have a request. Robert was curious if Hack has any distinctive skin colorations or horn configurations or anything like that.
So as far as the horn configurations, I didn't know. There's not a whole lot of. Every picture on the internet is Darth Maul.
Yeah, right.
But I
pretty
did.
Much, that's the standard one. But if there's something distinctive, like one's broken or yada yada.
No, that my horns are intact. I have no broken horns.
And his horns are big and ready to go.
Yes. And my skin is red, but my tattooing from the rite of passage is not like the thick black tattooing. It's more of a delicate pattern, like the lines are thinner. And then my eyes are purple. So that I think the purple eyes, which is I think fairly rare, it's not uncommon, but so that would be my biggest distinguishing feature is my eyes.
Sure.
So, but yeah, there's no special like figure 8 horn configuration. It's just a bunch of horns on my head, and then again the red coloration.
Bruce, you also are to rendezvous with Aliana Kaur, the healer. She's a young Twi'lek who is being trained in medicine here at the monastery, and who is very promising in her use of the Force. She's probably in the hospital.
Okay.
So I guess once we get the students kind of like revived, I guess. So what can I help you with, Bruce?
Bruce was sent to gather up monks like you. But the council was in Congress.
Monks like me?
The circle.
It's very vague, Bruce.
Thank you. Pats him on the back. Next, we will find Aliana. She is also on the list. Empress taps his head.
So I just kind of look at Bruce and shrug and lead on, Bruce.
Okay.
Bruce will lead on.
When you arrive at the hospital, but as you are approaching it, you see another monk running furiously in to the hospital. You recognize him as one of the younger monks who normally works up on the surface, gathering food and supplies for the monastery. Let me see. Well, are we going to be gender neutral in the Circle of Umno? Are we going to refer to all monks as brothers? Or are we going to use sisters and make them sound like nuns? Aliana, Amber, this is really up to you.
I say just make us all gender neutral. We can go she'll be brother.
Brother Core? All right. All right.
Or we could call them disciples. Disciple.
Oh, that's good. We'll use
yeah,
that.
disciples.
Nice gender neutral term. Good. Thank you. Jeremiah saved this. Okay, yes. Monk runs in. Disciple Core, we need you up on the surface immediately. It's Vash and Mungo. They were out fishing and they were attacked. They're wounded and their boat is sinking.
Aliana would probably have been like putzing around because she's very studious. So she'd probably have like 4 books open all on the things, and she could be quite gifted in the Force, but at this point she's kind of not been doing as much Force training as she should because she'd rather read books. So she's probably got all these books like all around her, and she's in her black robes, but her lekku will be like probably wrapped around her neck, because they're in the way, so she wants to get them out of the way. So she'll probably like start and look up and probably tumble at least 3 books onto the floor. But then now that she knows that she's needed, she'll just kind of like, her eyes will get real big because she's really pretty and she's got blue eyes and blue skin and she's very small and she likes to, she likes to be as pretty as she can wearing black robes. So,
yes,
she's got things wrapped around her leg too. Yeah, she's pretty. So she'll grab her med kit and she'll run out, and she probably won't even see that, Bruce and
Hack.
That butcher?
Yeah, just think like Hack and Slash, because he's the guy.
Hack and Bruce probably doesn't even see them. She just runs after the disciples that needed her help.
Okay. Bruce, you hear this as well about the 2 disciples who are injured up on the surface?
Okay. Bruce will then dutifully look to Hack and note that Bruce does not think that fishing is normally dangerous.
Do I presume that all of you rush to the aid of the injured monks?
Yeah, so the only question I would have is that would I have my Zuboka with me, or is it just the Force Pike from the training room?
You know what? For now, you're not going to need it. So let's just we don't have any. All right, so you guys, so what we next see is the lift or the elevator, if you want to call it that, and that's this enormous. You're in like a stone. Imagine a tubular elevator, like a cylinder, made of rock, and the elevator tube uses water and pneumatic tubing. So there's 2 tubes, and as you guys get in one of these stone cylinders, and it begins to rise on a huge cushion of water as the water is let out of the tube next to it. And so you sort of see this balance thing going as this elevator goes up many hundred of meters up to the surface of the ocean, surface of Umno. And when the camera arrives on the surface, it's this dark, storm-tossed, perpetual ocean on the surface of Umno. And there's dark clouds covering the entire sky, and there's lightning in the far-off distance. And the sea is a constant storm that looks like, like a Moby Dick movie gone crazy, right? And as there's a little tiny, like a floating island, sort of like made up of essentially tied together boats and rafts right around the top of the lift. And you rapidly jump into a boat there, a little catamaran. And Bruce, why don't you roll? You're going to be you're the best pilot in this group. So why don't you roll piloting planetary to sail the catamaran to the site of the injured fisherman?
Okay, so that's based off of agility. I've got.
And we'll call this average difficulty, so that's going to be 2 purple dice.
Okay, so I got piloting of 1 and agility of 2. So I roll a green and a yellow and 2 purple.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so with every end result, I end up with 1 threat. My success and failure canceled out, and my advantage was canceled out by the 2 threats. So 1 threat.
All right, so you're sailing through the water, and you know the seas of Umno are hard. That's one of the reasons why you all came here 1,000 generations ago. And a wave hits the catamaran and knocks everybody for a loop, and the disciple who was sort of guiding you starts to slide off the catamaran. Hack, you're the nearest guy. Can you have athletics or coordination?
I do have athletics.
Why don't you roll? I think the athletics is brawn.
I have all my stuff preset. Do I need to add any of the I call them purple dice, but the
purple dice. Yeah, add. We'll just give you 1. Difficulty easy to catch the sliding disciple.
All right. So I have 1 success with 6 of the, I think they're advantages. Yeah.
6?
Yeah.
What are you rolling?
It was.
Oh, your brawn is really high, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So I have my brawn is 4. So that gives me, and then I have 1 rank in athletics, and I just rolled exceptionally high on everything.
Yeah, so you're sure rolling 3 greens and 1 yellow.
Yep, with 1 purple.
All right, so you get 6 advantages. Well, that's good because you can help Jeremiah sail the boat. So you catch what the disciple is sort of sliding across the boat and going into the water, and you just grab out and grab him by the scruff of the robe and haul him manfully back into the boat. But you also have several advantages to spend, and if you want, you can take a look at how you might want to do that. 2 advantages can grant additional maneuver. Advantage can grant a boost die on physical checks of allies during the round. That would definitely include Bruce's piloting checks or checks the character performs later. So you can grant, if you've got 6 advantages, you can give Bruce 3 bonus dice on his piloting check.
I'll do that because the waves are pretty bad right now.
Yeah, and we want to not die. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. I forgot to roll the destiny dice, so we'll do that right after we deal with the injured. But I can't ask Jeremiah to spend destiny points because we haven't rolled any yet.
We have not.
All right, so Bruce, why don't you try again? You have 3 bonus dice from Hack as he manfully grabs the sail and pulls it back into line and uses his great strength to help steer the ship.
Okay, and those are the light blue dice, 6 of
Yes. Yep, that's right.
Okay, 4 successes and 1 threat.
Okay, you swiftly, and the extra successes basically decreases travel time. You swiftly pull the boat around and aim it towards where you know that Vash and Mungo were fishing until you see their boat, which is damaged and in fact sinking. As you pull up in your catamaran, the 2 monks one of them is looks like he might be dead. The other one is critically injured. And as you pull up and Aliana and Hack begin going over to the other boat and seeing to the injured and carrying them over, you hear Vash, who's the one that's still barely conscious, mutter something about a Nos monster. Which is a great seagoing carnivore, which is naturally home to another planet, but they now infest aquatic worlds all throughout the galaxy. Aliana, Mungo is dying. He has taken more wounds than he has, but you can give him, you can heal wounds with a medicine check using your physician's kit.
Okay.
Now your physician's kit gives you an automatic advantage, which means when you're going to make your roll, but no matter what you roll, you get a bonus advantage score because of your physician's kit, because you have the right tool for the right job. It also gives you a bonus die, because a physician's kit is like the best level of medical gear that you can really be having in this situation. Okay. So, but because he has taken more wounds than he has and will die without aid, that's a hard task. That's 3 purple dice. So before we get to that, let's roll the destiny pool. Everybody should be rolling 1 force die, the white 12-sider.
Okay.
And then we'll use Robert's very handy destiny tracker to track. If you want, if you guys have the link to his page, you can actually input your own. You can input your own destiny dice result on that page, but there's the link there. Go ahead and roll 1 white 12-sider for me and tell me what you get, or insert it on your own into the starting pool.
Well, the starting pool is supposed to be just 1 integer, so we'd have to know how many we roll first. So, yeah, let's put it in the chat like Jim said, and then we'll just add it up.
Okay, put it in the chat. All right, Jim's got 1 dark, Amber's got 1 light.
I have 1 dark as well.
Above that. Jeremiah, you had 1 dark?
Mm-hmm.
So I think just Robert Smith is all we need. So we got...
There we go, 1 dark. Okay, so we got 3 dark and 5 light. Okay, great.
All right, and then now whenever someone spends a light side, they just put a 1 in the light column. Or if Jason spends a dark, he'll just put a 1 in the dark side column, and then it'll track them back and forth.
Fantastic. And then Robert also gave us a little handy note to show you what they can be used for. Some of this is mechanical, but some of it is narrative. So, for example, you can, if Aliana decides that she doesn't have enough medicine, what is your medicine uses intellect, I think?
Yeah, my intellect is 4, and I have a 1 rank in medicine.
So you're rolling 3 greens and 1 yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the difficulty is 3 purples. And if you decide that you don't have enough dice, you can upgrade your greens to yellows using destiny points.
Okay. What does the bonus die from the physician's kit? Which one is that?
That's the pale blue 6-sider. You should add that to your pool.
Okay.
Yeah, you just add that to your pool. And then the second thing you can do is you can make the adversaries' lives harder. You can spend the destiny point to upgrade their difficulty dice.
Okay.
Many of your talents or special abilities will require destiny points to activate. I don't think any of you have any of those yet, but you will with XP. And then finally, you can alter the narrative. You can introduce narrative facts to overcome obstacles and move the story along. So if you're like, well, can't believe I didn't bring a hydro spanner. Well, I spend a destiny point and I've got your hydro spanner right here, or whatever. Or maybe you find a clue at the scene of a crime, or the enemy's ship has a malfunction, or whatever. All of that stuff can be done with destiny points. They have to be fairly minor and they have to be approved, but that's a way for you guys to influence the story. Okay, so Aliana, but all these things have to be spent before you roll, which is the important part about destiny points.
Okay.
So right now you've got your pool and you've already built it. I think you have 3 greens, 1 yellow, and a bonus die.
Yep.
And then the difficulty is the 3 purples. You got a lot of dice.
Yeah, there's a lot of dice.
Okay, so you can roll what you've got, or you can, if you're a little insecure or you want to make sure, you can spend destiny to upgrade your greens to yellows.
I'll use 1 light side point to upgrade one of the greens to yellow.
Okay, good. Let's test out Robert's sheet. So just go there where it says points spent and put a 1 under the light side column.
Okay.
And it should change to 4 and 4. Yes. That's how Robert can do math.
Well, actually, no. The spreadsheet's doing the math.
Robert can do spreadsheets, which is far more impressive. Robert, take 2 XP. Okay. So now you've upgraded your die. So roll them and tell me what you get.
Okay. I got 4 successes and 1 threat.
Okay. So the 4 successes is how many wounds you heal. Okay. So he's now stable and positive. And you can do this to any PC. In fact, it's normally easier than this. A PC would have to have taken all of their entire wound threshold and more for it to be this hard for you. Okay. But he's only, so he only had 5 wounds to start with. The threat would be something bad that happens, like
actually it would technically be canceled out by her automatic advantage.
Oh, you're right. The physician's kit gives you a free automatic advantage, so the threat is canceled out. So you just have 4 successes. Thank you, Robert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So so you heal him for 4 wounds. Okay.
Okay.
And he begins to recover. You Hack, do you want to haul him onto the working boat?
I can absolutely do that. You need me to make a athletics check?
Ordinarily, I would, but I think you can handle moving a guy without having to roll it. You're pretty tough. So you drag him over, and all of you begin making your way back to the monastery. By the way, if you had failed, Amber, you could have used a stim pack on him. Stim packs automatically heal 5 wounds.
Okay.
And you can give them to anyone. The only drawback is that for every stim pack you receive, they heal 1 less if used in the same day.
Oh, okay.
So the first one heals 5, the second one heals 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, and then they stop working.
Okay.
Okay. But that's a lot of health, right? That's like
what,
9, 12, 15 health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you
I think you have like 5 stim packs. If you don't, take 5 stim packs, and then you can use your physician's kit as well.
Okay.
All right. You all arrive back at the monastery. You take the lift down, and the injured monks are taken to the hospital, but they are out of danger. And Bruce, you can now take them to Master Nix, who has asked to speak with them before they depart.
Okay. Bruce will wait until Albiana has indicated that she's done everything that she can, and then Bruce will nod to her and say, Bruce was tasked with bringing you to Master Nix.
She'll look up from the patients, obviously, like kind of shaking, because she kind of goes into like a one-track mind kind of thing, like when she's taking care of people, and she forgot Bruce was even there. But she'll smile at him and nod, and she'll follow him off to meet with Master Nix.
All right. Hack and Aliana, you follow Bruce. You know Master Nix. He's one of the senior masters of the order. And as you approach him, you see he's in his robes. He's got like a hood on over the back of his head. You're looking at the back of his head. Then as he turns around, you recognize him. You see that big ugly Link?
Yep.
He's a Gungan.
Yes.
Awesome.
I know. Mr. See you later.
And his name is Nuno, or excuse me, Nonu. Master Nonu Nix. Oh, he's got a website, webpage,
and web fingers.
But Rob is going for the extra XP whenever I laugh game, which is pretty easy on me. Okay. Master Nix greets both of you. Disciple Core, Disciple Gath. Me so glad you come at last. And he leads you down through the halls of the monastery to parts of the monastery where you have never walked. And he leads you to a door which you have never seen opened. As far as for your lives. And it's this big, massive stone door with kind of an ornate circular lock on it. And he just sort of passes his hand over it, and you can hear stone move inside the building, and it slowly opens up, and he leads you into the armory of the monks of Umno, and it's this catacomb chamber. It's got there's display cases and trophies on the walls, and everything is crowded, and there is lightsabers as far as the eye can see. There must be thousands of them. And you remember that the monks of Umno have been preparing for this day for 1,000 generations, right? Those are lined with lightsabers, and they're all different. Like they're gold, and they're silver, and they're copper, and they're decorated with gems, and they're pearl-handled and tricked out and simple. And there's some that look like they're made out of wood, and maybe one that's made out of coral, and there's one-bladed and two-bladed and all kinds of ridiculous, options. There's like every kind of lightsaber you could possibly imagine, And he enters and he gestures towards the armory and he says, "Choose your weapons."
Well, it's just
I stunned them to silence.
Yes, it's shock. Are we ready for this?
Spend a destiny point to get the nuclear missile.
Lightsabers are probably better than nuclear missiles in Star Wars.
I think they are.
He says, the time for watching is over. The time for action has come. Now choose.
So I guess I walk in.
Yes.
And I look for something similar to something that would be similar to my Zaboka. So something that I'm looking for a double-bladed lightsaber.
We already know that you find the double-bladed lightsaber. What color is its blade?
Oh, the blades themselves? Ooh. That's a tough choice. We'll go with blue.
Blue, okay. And you can figure out what you want it to look like. You try out you walk through there and you see one, and you're like, that's it. You can tell that that's going to be exactly the one that you had dreams about.
I feel my connection to it through the Force.
You can feel your connection because you have sense, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you sense your connection to it through the Force, like it was waiting for you, like it was made for you. And then Aliana, what about you? What kind of lightsaber do you want?
She will kind of look a little bit shocked. Her eyes are quite wide, and she's not sure.
One and no lightsaber skill. Why am I getting?
So she of course doesn't want to disrespect Master, so she'll walk along the thing. She'll just kind of keep looking.
You shall not back talk, Master Nix. Yeah.
Yeah, must not. No. So she'll walk along until she finds a smallish hilt that looks like it'll fit in her hand.
Okay.
And it's pretty plain, but it's utilitarian, and it looks kind of more like it might be some kind of medical type device rather than a lightsaber.
Sure. It looks like a scanner.
And right, and then she'll turn it on, and it'll have a yellow blade.
Okay, very good. He says, he comes over to Hack. He says, "You have chosen wisely. This weapon was made 1,000 years ago by a great master, but it has never seen battle." He looks at the both of you, and he says, "But these weapons cannot be allowed to fall into the hands of the enemy. back to us. Do you understand? And he gives both of you a little round dial. It looks like a coin. But you both recognize these as hyperspace detonators.
Mm-hmm.
If you push the coin, your lightsaber will explode wherever it is in the galaxy.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And he gives one to both to Hack and to Alyon.
Okay.
These will serve you well until the day you forge your own. Now, we have much to do, but first, you will need a starship. Actually, you should say, Yusa need a starship.
You sure that wasn't just a really rare regional dialect that Jar Jar had?
Well, to be fair, he has not been on Naboo since he was a kid, so he's lost most of his accent because Jason can't do the accent. All right. Sideways wipe, and we are on another planet. The smuggler's moon of Nar Shaddaa, in a seedy cantina where Dessel Jax is paying off a smuggling gig, or getting paid for a smuggling gig. Dessel, describe your character to us.
All right. Well, he's basically is Clint Eastwood in space. So
Young Clint Eastwood, right? Like Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah. He even has like a little space poncho.
Well, to be fair, ponchos are pretty common in Star Wars. Like ponchos are a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah. So he's just, and then he's even got like the hat and everything. Under he's got like his utility belt. He's got two DE-10 heavy blasters, and then on his back he has a vibro like katana. Just in case it gets a little close quarters. I think he probably has like a scar, maybe like over one of his eyes or something. I don't know. I always like that for some reason. And he's scruffy because he doesn't care.
He's a scruffy-looking nerf herder.
And I'm thinking just because it's kind of Star Warsy, he probably has kind of like a medium length hair, like brownish hair. Maybe like in like some kind of ponytail.
All right.
Depending on the day.
Well, as you're getting paid by a we need a good alien, by a Rodian, who's paying you off for a smuggling job you just completed. There's a couple of guys standing outside the cantina, looking in the doorway. One of them is like nudging the other. That's him. I'm telling you, that's him. And the other one's like, nah, it's just some old guy. No, it's him. And he kind of saunters towards you, and you see him out of the corner of your eye. Says, "You're Dessel Jax, ain't you?"
Nope, don't know what you're talking about.
And he kind of sneers, looks at the other guy that was his friend, and says, I heard you're pretty tough and fast.
Yeah, well, if I am this person, I'd watch out. And I'm just counting my money.
Okay. He looks you up and down. You don't look so fast to me. You look kind of like a washed up old has-been.
Well, that must not be that person you're looking for. And I put the money in my pocket and I start walking away.
Okay. Well, so let me see if I can get you a picture of this guy.
That's fine.
This page is thwarting me every time I go try and look at it. Okay. You see the Schofield kid on that link? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you can tell he says, "Hey, if you don't turn around, I'm going to shoot you in the back." So thanks to your Splat book, the book on smugglers, I actually have rules for quick draw shootout contests.
Okay.
So what do you do?
So, we're in a cantina, though, right?
What's that?
We're in a cantina.
Oh, he was outside the cantina, so you were walking away, like you're in the street.
Okay, cool.
On Nar Shaddaa, so bad stuff happens.
Yeah, so there's at the first there's two parts to the shootout. The first part is the stare down, face off, right?
Yeah.
And there's two tactics you can take here. You can try to size him up, which uses your perception or streetwise, and it targets his cool. And it's an attempt to tell how good he is, and attempt to tell when he's going to draw.
Okay.
Is to be the second person to draw, but the first person to shoot. That protects you from legal ramifications.
Okay.
Right? The guy who draws first is the guy who's going to be in trouble with the law. The second thing you can try to do is intimidate him. Just try and scare him and try and maybe make him slow down. And that uses your deception or your coercion, and it targets his discipline.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you want to do? You want to try to size him up, or do you want to intimidate him?
Let's size him up.
Okay. He's going to try to intimidate you. Okay. That's all
right.
he knows. So I'll roll him first, and then we'll roll you, but this is actually happening at the same time. Okay. He's trying to intimidate. He's got one green and one yellow. That's his coercion. What's your discipline?
Is it a skill?
It is a skill.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay, so discipline is based off of presence or willpower? What stat? Robert?
Discipline is based off of willpower.
Okay. What's your willpower, Rob?
3.
Okay, so that becomes his difficulty. He has 3 purple dice for difficulty. Okay?
Okay.
And he's going to roll that. He's rolling 3 purples, 1 green, and 1 yellow. He gets a failure, but a triumph. Triumph would normally be a success, but the failure cancels out that success and leaves him just with the narrative effects of the triumph. Which I'll figure out in a minute. Okay, so you're trying to intimidate him.
No, sizing him up.
You're sizing him up, excuse me. Okay, so you're going to roll perception or streetwise. What have you?
I'll do.
Are they both rank 1?
Yeah, they're both the same.
So pick one that has the highest ability score associated with it.
I think. Let's see. Streetwise is cunning, right?
They're both cunning.
They're both cunning.
Yeah, so it's both going to be the same no matter what.
All right. So what have you got with that?
So it's the 1 with that, and then 3 for the cunning.
So you're going to roll 2 greens and 1 yellow.
Alrighty.
Okay. And you're targeting his cool stat, which is based off of his willpower. Did we decide?
Yes.
Just 2.
Yes.
So you add 2 purple dice.
2 purple?
Yep.
Alrighty.
And roll that up.
Yeah, discipline is willpower, cool is presence.
So
Okay.
I got a success.
Okay.
1 success and a threat.
Okay. So I'm pulling up the. There we are.
Those purple die are nasty.
The purple die are the sort of basic difficulty dice. They're not as nasty as the red ones. The red ones are bad. But that's where that's basically the target number dice. Like that's the generic opposition or the purple dice. Okay. So you had one success. That's going to give you a bonus die. It's going to give it actually going to give him a penalty die on his attack roll because you intimidate him and he like slips when he goes to pull his gun out. Okay. But you also got a threat. So we see some sweat on your forehead as you suffer 2 strain.
2 strain. Okay.
Yep.
I'm just going to write that in the chat.
Yep. Okay. And now, now you're going to roll for initiative. So he's going to have a penalty dice. You're rolling your cool stat for your cool skill for initiative.
Ooh,
and and he has a penalty die from your intimidate. Okay.
Okay. So I have cool plus. So cool is up a rank.
Well, your cool is 1, right?
No, we upped it.
I don't know what you mean by plus.
Well, I upped it a rank.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Is it a 2? Is it a 1 or a? I don't understand.
I believe it's a 2. Yeah. We upped it to 2.
I think it's just a 1. I think because all your skills started off at 0. I think. Or are all of your skills do you have little plus numbers next to them?
Only the ones that we upped. I have all my skills that I picked. And then the cool, I have a plus, and range light, I have a plus next to it.
Well, you can't have range light higher than 1 because you only get it because of one of your specializations.
Okay, it's probably at a 1 then.
I think it's a 1. But cool is linked to.
Was it presence or kind of?
I'm sorry, guys. I need you to.
It's presence.
It's presence. Okay. Do me a favor, Robert and Robert Smith, and get like one of the character sheets, which has all the associated ability scores and skills right there. You know, I can't remember. I'm afraid I too much shit up here. But then you'll know like what ability score is linked to every skill, and you can build your dice pool.
Yeah, I have the helper open now.
Oh, right on. Okay, good. All right, so you get 1 yellow die for your cool skill, and then you get green dice. What's your presence?
3.
Okay, so you have 2 green dice for that.
All right.
And he's rolling 1 green, 1 yellow, and 1 penalty die.
Alrighty. I got 3 successes.
Okay.
And 3 advantage.
Okay. He got 1 success and a triumph. So your 3 successes is going to beat that because that counts as 2 successes. So you're going to go first. But he's going to get some narrative advantage. But he also has a threat. And what else did you have?
I have 3 success and 3 advantage.
3 advantage. Okay. You can use those advantages to give yourself an extra maneuver.
Okay.
Takes 2 advantages to give yourself a free maneuver. So right now you're spending 1 maneuver to draw your gun and and then an action to shoot. But with the free maneuver given to you by your advantage points, you can take the aim action. So you can quick draw, and then you can draw, and then you can aim, and then you can shoot. And you'll go first because you beat him on successes.
And this might be also a situation to spend a destiny point
on his attack roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So so the aim is going to give you a bonus die. It's going to give you a blue 6-sider.
Okay.
So go ahead and take your attack. The range is short, which is 1 die. Can't believe I've forgotten. Short is 1 die. All right, so you're rolling agility and ranged light.
So agility is 3, and then range of light is 1.
So you've got 2 greens and 1 yellow.
Again, all right.
And then you
Plus
get
the blue, right?
you get a bonus blue die for your aim maneuver.
Alrighty.
And if you want to spend destiny points, which is a good idea, you can upgrade one of your greens to a yellow, or both to a yellow if you want to spend enough points.
I'll do 1. And
Okay.
Can you spend more than 1 at a time?
I thought you can, but maybe you can't. I don't know.
I'm on the you can't side right now without looking it up.
Okay. Well, anyway, so you've got the link to the Robert's Destiny Point tracker. And you can just put 1 in the points spent column.
Yep.
And that should track everything.
alrighty. So then just roll that.
And then, so that now you've got 2 yellows, 1 green,
And 1
1
blue.
purple, and 1 blue.
Oh, I need 1 purple?
Yeah, that's the difficulty. It's a short
Okay.
attack, so that's one purple die.
Alrighty.
Roll.
Okay. Cool. I got 1 success
Yep.
and 2 triumph.
Oh. Okay. Well, triumph on a attack roll counts as a success first. So that's your total. You got 3 successes because the triumphs both count as a success plus an additional narrative effect. A triumph is going to you said you had 2?
Yeah, 2.
Okay, you're just going to shoot him. What do you want to do to him?
Alright, so this is what I kind of wanted to happen.
Yes.
So when he says, like, I'll shoot you in the back, I don't even turn around. I kind of, like, glance back at him,
Okay.
which is kind of why I got the threat, I think, because I'm, like, not really paying attention.
Sure.
So I glance back at him, and I kind of look, and I see him about to pull, and I just turn, and I shoot the gun right out of his hand.
Okay. All right. You shoot his blaster out of his hands, and he draws it, but then you shoot it out of his hands, and he like grabs his hand, and looks behind him, and he looks at his friend, and his friend just runs.
And I just go, and I look at him and go, maybe I am who you said I was. And I spin it and put it right back in the holster.
All right. He does like this and backs away and like tries to melt into the crowd.
And I just walk away.
Okay. As the shootout, as you put your gun back in your holster, Hack, Aliana, and Bruce arrive. You have come to hire Jax for his ship. Doran, you are in the cantina, drunk, as usual. He's got his prop. Right, so Aliana, Hack, and Bruce, you see Dessel Jax, who's the smuggler you are supposed to hire. He's got a ship. He's supposed to be reliable. He's just defended himself, notably non-lethally, against a gunslinger in the street.
Did we witness that?
Yes, you did.
Who's our spokesperson?
Probably Hack.
Is this, well, I don't know if this is still.
Probably Hack. Okay. Whoever your spokesperson is, you're looking at the 3 least likely examples of it. But the person with the highest presence is undoubtedly Aliana.
That's true. But she's young and naive and
perfect.
Okay, all right.
You beat me to it, Jason.
Because you guys can let Bruce speak for you.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that, but you guys might not be.
I wasn't sure if Bruce was assembling the team still, or
was he Nick Fury?
Yeah. He was told by the council to assemble the team, so I didn't know if he's the one assembling us for now. If not,
it's totally up to you guys to decide. Like what you know is about as much as I've thought out. Okay, so
I mean, like, not that I don't mind taking the lead, but I have the least presence.
No, I think Aliana should do it. She's perfect.
All right, Aliana will do it then.
People are more likely to run away screaming in terror from me than they are for it to help me out.
Yeah, he's the intimidating Zabrak. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So we witnessed the shootout.
Yes.
All right. Aliana will.
You know that your mission is to hire him to take you to the planet of Salukami. Saleucami.
Salukami. Okay.
Where you'll pick up the last member of your team.
Okay. What's his name again?
Dessel.
How do you say it?
Dessel Jax.
Dessel. Okay, Dessel. Mr. Jax. Okay.
There you go.
So with her, big blue eyes and cute little, kind of walk, she comes up to him and grins at him and puts her hand out and says, I believe you're Mr. Jax. My name is Aliana Kaur, and I'm here to hire you to take us to Saleucami. And I'd be very grateful if you would do this for us. We have money, of course. And she'll just kind of give him a cute little girl.
She's got dimples.
Yeah, she's totally got dimples.
How much money do you have?
Now, as you guys are talking, you see a shape. A big non-human shape stealthily sneaking its way towards you through an alley. Hack, you notice this. Bruce, so do you.
So how far away is it?
It's probably about 10 meters away. In an alley with a crowd in between you and it. You can't see it clearly.
Okay. Well, that's too far for me to use my sense. So
but you can try to sense towards it if you want.
Well, I was going to try and see the emotional state. So I think that's about as limited as I can do right now.
Sure. Roll your force dice.
All right.
But your range is engaged or short?
It's short.
Yeah, we'll say it's short. Short's good.
Is that I don't use the white sided dice for that, right? What do I use?
Yeah, use the 12-sided.
Okay.
And if you generate only dark side, then you have to spend conflict to use it. If you generate white points, then you can use them freely.
It's a good thing you said that because I rolled a dark side point.
Okay, so at this point you can still do it, but you spend the destiny point and you take 1 point of conflict to use the dark side to do your sense.
You know what? I'll do that.
Okay, take your conflict point and like it.
I do like it.
I know you do. That's why. I really for those of you that are if you're watching and you've already been playing the Star Wars game, I think my impression from the rules is that the game sort of assumes that players will use dark side points, at least sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, you feel a brief moment of fear as you sense this big sort of monster or creature lumbering your way, and in that moment of instinctive fear, you reach out with your senses and you actually sense that it's actually happy. It's not angry or aggressive at all. It's actually kind of playful, and you realize that it's not a danger.
Okay, then I will dismiss my, I'm not going to watch it so much anymore because it's
Well, as you relax a little bit, and then this big Nexu like jumps out of the crowd and pounces on Aliana and begins to lick her face. It's like 6 feet long, and it's got this giant shark-toothed grin that looks like it could eat a car.
She's gonna put her hands up in front of her face, but mostly just to get the saliva off her face.
It's hopeless.
Okay, she's still gonna try.
You recognize it at once. This is Runt. This is Doran's pet Nexu. You must be here.
So even though I was little, I would imagine I'd remember this Nexu.
Yeah, I loved you.
Okay. No wonder a kid jumped out at me. So now I'm covered in drool, and
Yes.
the smuggler wants to know how much money we have. So I will kind of motion to Bruce to try to tell him how much money we're going to be paying him while I try to disengage myself from the slobbering Nexu so I can go find Doran, because I haven't seen him in forever and I totally want to see him.
Chad, I believe that you have to spend the destiny point to use dark side points, unless you are a dark side user. If you are a dark side user, you have to spend a destiny point to use white side points.
Okay, so I did update the sheet correctly then.
Yeah,
I
and I
believe so.
updated the sheet on behalf of
Okay, great.
Robert, because that hadn't been marked. Okay, when Aliana nods to Bruce, Bruce will acknowledge it, nod himself, and say Bruce will help, and he's going to get a big handkerchief and completely misinterpret what she's indicating to him that he needs to do, and start wiping the slobber off her face like a mother who like spits on a napkin and is wiping it off.
I made a clean spot. Now I have to get the rest.
Bruce cleans your face. Bruce will do it well. Now Aliana looks less slobbery. Isn't that better? And he pats her on the shoulder and puts his handkerchief up.
Well done. Jim,
One part Alfred, one part Scipio.
what would you? what would Doran like to do? You see all this through the window of the canteen. Now, I want to remind everybody. Jim told us before the game started that his character was going to be the guy that would not want to go on the adventure, so we're all going to have to like drug him like Mr. T in the A-Team with milk. Okay. So just if Doran does not want to go on the adventure, Jim has given all of you permission to drag him on it anyway.
Okay.
Can I see this through like a cantina window?
Yes, you do.
I lower my head and just go, you want to give me another?
Yes, sir, says the bar droid, which, pours you another. Just say when, sir.
Never.
Okay.
Just leave the bottle.
Yeah, he pours until it overflows the cup, and the droid's kind of in bad repair, so it's like sparky. Sets the bottle down.
Thanks, Sparky.
Anytime, sir. And he staggers off. Meanwhile, out in the street.
So Jax is just kind of looking. I was like, so like I said, how much money do you have?
I'm not sure how much enough would be, but let's presume that they have a reasonable amount of money to pay for a fare to Salakami.
All right. Like, Salakami is pretty dangerous to get to with all the meteors.
You're totally making this shit up.
Is it Outer Rim?
Hey, I looked it up.
Oh, did you? Okay, all right, fair enough.
Is it Outer Rim?
Yes, it's Outer Rim. It's an oasis. It's the only habitable planet in the whole system of uninhabitable planets.
Yes, Rob, you asked. Yes, Doran is a guy you know. He's a drunkard that basically never leaves the cantina.
Okay.
Okay. Having been told that it's very dangerous to go, Aliana will just nod her head and say, of course, we would definitely have to give you danger pay then.
Sounds good.
That's okay.
All right. Well, when did you guys want to leave?
She's gonna look at him like her eyes real wide and then look back at the guys and kind of like shrug at them like, when are we supposed to be leaving? She doesn't know.
As soon as we can.
As soon as we can.
Well, let me go talk to somebody. I'll let you guys get your things in order. And meet me by my ship. It's the Malposa. By dawn. What time is it right now, Jason?
It's like afternoon. You can do it. You can leave tonight if you wanted to leave.
Oh yeah, we'll leave tonight. I gotta go talk to somebody, and then just get your stuff together. Meet me by my ship, the Malposa, by tonight.
Will do. Thank you very much, sir.
The Nexu Runt. By the way, Bruce, you also recognize Runt. You know him well as the pet of Doran. So Doran's got to be around here somewhere. Runt would never leave. Would never go far from Doran. Well, unless he's hungry or following something.
So Doran finishes his drink.
Okay.
Sees that Sparky's blowing a fuse again.
Yeah.
Puts his cup on top of him. He goes,
Okay.
Well, I have a Nexu. Want, and he'll stagger out of the bar.
All right. Well, you see Aliana and Bruce and Hack like conferring in the middle of the street, and Dessel is walking your way, I think, back towards the cantina, and Runt is like standing in the middle of the road, like looking at each group, not knowing where to go, like, you know, sort of looking back and forth between Aliana and Dessel as he walks back toward the canteen. And then you step out of the canteen and holler for him, and he looks at you and smiles the big Nexu smile. Like, look who's here, Dad! Look! And like his tail like points towards Aliana.
We're gonna say that he has hazy vision at this point.
Okay. All right.
And he's just staggering into the bright light.
Okay.
Like, what?
Runt like he like runs in a circle around the three of you in the street, Aliana and Bruce and Hack, and then he like runs in a circle around you, and then he like does like a pointer move, like where he like goes up on two legs, or maybe three legs. How many legs do Nexu have? They have 6 or 8.
I think it's 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except that instead of pointing with his head or pointing with a claw, he like points with his tail, right towards Doran, who is just staggered out of the cantina. And Bruce, you recognize him. Aliana, you recognize him. Hack, you have no idea who this drunken guy is.
He smells like a distillery.
Yeah.
Describe the broken man in front of you. He's got sort of like a mane of hail, kind of like Calabac from DC Comics. It's gunmetal gray, but it's got that discoloration around the mouth from all the alcohol. And he's got these cold blue eyes. And in his prime, he could have given Kylo Ren a run for his money, but now it's just 10 years of drinking on top of that body.
Yeah, and somewhere deep underneath all that makeup is what actor again?
Um,
The Bond actor.
yeah, it's Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
I like
Deep
that.
underneath all that hair and makeup is Daniel Craig. Who loved
Actually,
being
give him
a
some solid.
stormtrooper so much in Force Awakens that he got a real job.
Yeah. As a drunk.
Yes.
So, since Clint Eastwood is too old, am I just Scott Eastwood at this point?
Your character is totally CGI.
Oh, okay.
You've been reconstructed from old Clint Eastwood movies.
That's
It's
perfect.
a technological wonder. Yeah.
Which could be an improvement over Scott Eastwood.
yeah, definitely better than Scott Eastwood. Yeah.
So, what
Oh.
does Bruce know
So-
about the conditions under which Doran left?
Doran, you probably know that you know the tragedy of it. Like Doran's husband died and his adopted daughter died, and he just couldn't take it, especially with Aliana being around all the time, and she reminded him of his daughter, and he was overcome by despair, and he lost his connection to the Force, and he he collapsed into drunkenness.
So
He's a tragic tale.
so while everyone's standing there,
Yeah.
Doran will stagger close to how you pronounce your name, Amble?
Eliana.
Eliana?
Mhm.
Stagger over there. Whisper, Danica? Starbright? And then he just passes out.
Okay, that's his daughter's name, of course.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Tron. Yeah, young Eastwood's face and voice over a young body. Yeah, which could be Scott, just to give him something to do. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going to make an athletics roll to catch him, but I'm just
Okay,
going
you
to
got
sidestep.
to
I'm just going to sidestep and let him just face plant.
Dark side.
Okay, Bruce will try to catch him.
Bruce, okay. All right, roll coordination. We'll call it easy.
Okay, so coordination is agility, so that's just 2 green dice.
Okay.
And he said easy, so is that 1 purple? 1 advantage, 1 failure.
Okay, so he goes splat in the ground.
Excellent.
And then I reach for him with my slow Ithorian reflexes.
A pile of dust just flies up around Doran.
However, on the good news, he wasn't hurt.
And he
Plus,
starts
like,
going.
I'm not sure that was worth catching.
Bruce thinks he recognizes him. And I'll pick him up and try to look at him.
Yeah, so
No.
No,
in
I
his
thought
prime,
by
he had
smell?
no facial hair. Like he was like well groomed. But he hasn't touched a razor blade in 10 years.
Humans do look an awful lot alike to Bruce.
What about his smell, Bruce? That seems quite unique.
First sniffs at it. And he does have an axis. That makes it more familiar to Bruce. What does Eliana think? He'll dangle. Doran.
She the whole time, like, he staggered out and like said his daughter's name, and she kind of like got a little like, oh my god, like what am I supposed to do? And then he passed out. So then she's kind of like it kind of like makes her really sad, because it's like, oh, it's really sad. And he was a really awesome guy, and she really liked him. Like, she looked up to him a lot when she was a little kid. So to see, like, yeah, he rescued me. So like to see the person who rescued me like in this sort of a state, she's kind of like heartbroken. Like, she's looking at her with her big eyes, like kind of watery, and a little tear going down her.
Yep, you're like the last Indian in those environmental commercials.
Yep, exactly. So she'll just kind of
Okay, that's a dated reference. Like, really dated.
I don't apologize because I'm fucking up.
So she'll actually be like petting Runt. And
Yes. He looks sad too. Runt looks
yeah,
sad too.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Runt. He's sad. Everyone's sad. So she's gonna decide that we should just take him with us. We need to save him. We totally must save him. So we're gonna take him with us. Yes, Runt, you wanna come with us? We're gonna go. Let's go.
And I'm gonna point. I don't mind the Nexu. He smells better than the human.
I've missed gaming with you, Chad.
All right.
You're welcome.
So you all take off in the Malposa. And if you missed the link, I'll put it again into the chat window. The Malposa is a 3-deck light transport. What's notable about the interior is that it's got kind of a central atrium area. If you look on the maps, they're all that number 2. And there's like the central area of the ship has got a spiral staircase that connects all the decks. And it's actually got a transparent dome on top that you can see the stars through. And it creates a kind of empty open space in the middle of the ship, which helps a little bit with the generic claustrophobia. Robert, you can decide, Dessel, you can decide what the condition of your ship is. It doesn't have any modifications right now. We're just gonna, I'll write up, I have not come up with its game stats yet, but it doesn't have any weapons or anything right now, but you can buy that when you get some money.
Okay. It just has smuggling compartments.
It does have virtually every room has, in fact, you guys can just assume this. This is a good thing to spend destiny points on if you ever need it. Like you find there's like a little hidden compartment in whatever room you're in this ship. But the good news is that you owe it, you own it free and clear. You don't owe any money on it. You don't owe a gambling boss. You're not in debt over the ship. You own it free and clear. Okay.
But yeah, it's probably not bright and shiny.
Right.
It probably has some blaster damage on the outside.
Now, for all of you, it's going to be kind of crowded on the ship right now. If you look at the maps, number 4 on the upper deck is 2 staterooms, one of which is Dessel's. The other stateroom is currently empty. Then the only other cabins are bunk rooms on the lower deck. Number 13. There's 2 little bunk rooms, and each bunk room has bunk beds and a couple of lockers. So you could put 2 people in each bunk room, and then 1 person in each stateroom, and that would be all 6 of you. Not counting
one of the staterooms has a double bed.
Yeah, that's not Dessel's actually. Dessel, you sometimes carry passengers.
Okay.
They take the double bedroom, the queen size bed.
I think Dessel usually just sleeps at the wheel.
Nice. Okay. The logical thing would be for the only female member of the party to have the stateroom, because she's probably not gonna. You're not gonna put the 19-year-old Twi'lek.
That ain't patriarchal at all.
Yeah, it is totally patriarchal. But on the other hand, she's a 19-year-old Twi'lek, and you're not going to put her with the drunk or the intimidating, scary Zabrak. But anyway, you can assign or take whatever rooms you want.
I just tell him, I don't care where you sleep, just don't touch my stuff.
Dawn sleeps level.
Really dump him. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I tell him pour the drunk in the cargo hold.
Nice. Okay.
Bruce wants to inspect the ship to make sure it looks like it's in flying order before they pay him anything.
Yeah. Sure. Good. Okay. Why don't you roll mechanics, which I think is intellect based.
Okay. So that's 1 green and 2 yellow.
Let's just do 1 difficulty die for a quick inspection.
4 successes, 2 threats.
Okay. You quickly survey the ship. Yes, it looks flyable. It doesn't have any weapons, but it does have some shielding. It looks reasonably quick. It's got a hyperdrive and a backup hyperdrive in case things go wrong. Let's see. I'm not really sure what to generate a couple of threat on. It's possible something is not working.
Or I might have noticed some shoddy repairs that you can write in.
Yeah, let's say that the communication systems look faulty. They look like they might break down soon.
Meh.
They're working right now, but they look like they've been jury rigged, and it's probably only a temporary fix. There's like a mechanic room, which is number 9. The portside workroom is essentially a shop. Aliana, room number 10 looks like it would make a good medical bay, but for now it's basically nothing.
Okay.
The lounge is 6. That's where like people hang out. You can see like the dining table. There's a sofa with a video screen, and that's kind of like the relaxation area of the ship. Dessel dumped Doran in the cargo bay, which is 15. Now, you came into the ship at 5. That's a ramp.
At 5? Okay, so I probably dumped him in the galley.
Or you could have just dumped him in 5. 5 is like a forward storage area, which is also like the mud room, like the place where you
I told him to dump him there, and as I walk by the galley to go up to the cockpit, I like click on like a coffee maker or whatever.
Good, very good. Yeah. What do they call coffee in Star Wars? It's not called is it Kappa?
Space coffee?
Space coffee. Nice. Anyway, yes. And we'll deal with seating arrangements and everything later, because I still want to try and get Robert Meridian into the adventure. Okay, so you guys rocket off from Nar Shaddaa and travel through hyperspace towards the planet of Salukami. Okay. Sideways wipe. The planet of Salukami and Meridian's farm. Meridian, you have been living on Salukami for about 5 years now. When you mustered out of the Republic military, part of their decommissioning process, they gave you a farm. It's a pastoral, beautiful planet with hills in the background, fields of grain, and your little ranch house. There's probably windmills and solar
droids going about.
Yeah. And what do we see? What is Meridian in farming gear?
She wears a red jumpsuit that you would basically typical for a farmer. Not typical is it looks like it's been ironed. So it has pleats and everything.
Yeah, right.
And she's walking around the fields, and occasionally she'll stop and check the ground and then hold out her palm, and the little hologram thing would pop up showing her information.
Yes.
And she'd frown. The
plants
plants are growing, but they don't look like the healthiest.
We all see that when Meridian holds out her hand generates a hologram scanner display. So we can tell that she's got the cybernetic thing around her head.
Right.
So does she have hair?
Yes. She has short hair. She's a black woman. I'm using Taraji P. Henson as sort of my model for her.
That's right. And where do I know her from? Which show is she from that
I know she's in Hidden Figures. I don't know what else she does.
Okay.
She was in a Person of Interest. She plays the.
That was it. Yes, exactly. She was the cop in Person of Interest. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's sort of the picture I'm basing her off of. I cut off the dress though because she doesn't really wear dresses.
Yeah,
So she has like the tight cornrows, really short hair, very practical.
Okay. So as you open up your hand and you are looking at your scanner, there's like a little blinking light goes off, and you see wedge shapes that tell you ships are coming in on your farm from different directions.
Okay. She'll quickly look about, frown, and head towards the actual ranch house.
You head towards the ranch house. You reach it. What would you like to do?
I'll just wait until the shapes come. I'll stand on the porch.
The first ship comes in for a land. You don't see the other one. It must be some distance away. It is, you recognize it as an armed transport. Let me get you guys a picture. It is a old Republic armed transport, a YV-929. It's got a small crew, like half a dozen people. And it lands in an empty space a short distance from your ranch house. And the side ramp opens, and about a half a dozen people come out, looking like they're not in uniform, but they have a military bearing. They look like they strike you as being guerrillas or partisans of some kind.
Okay. Are they actually like? Are they being tactical, or are they just getting out?
They're getting out, but they have like blaster rifles pointed down.
Okay.
And they've got like communications gear, so they seem like military, but they're not any official military in uniform.
Got it.
And they're led by a woman whom you recognize. Let me get you a picture. General Organa.
Okay. I don't know if we needed the picture.
I like that. and
all right, now,
yeah.
Meridian smiles a little bit, but she's actually concerned, like why the heck is a general coming to visit a farm in the middle of nowhere?
Well, you've heard. So, how much does Meridian keep track of current events in the Galactic Corps?
Not too much.
Okay. All right. You see Leia, General Organa. She walks towards your house. Couple of her guards stay back at the ship. A couple of them follow her in your general direction, but stay.
All right. Well, when she gets within close enough, Meridian will salute.
And she says, "I'm not in the army anymore, Meridian. That's not necessary."
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm not in the army anymore either. She looks a little ashamed.
She says, "It's good to see you. You look well."
I'm doing okay. I have a feeling you didn't come here to help pick the crops.
No, I've had enough of farms, thank you. But you I'm sure you've heard the news.
What news is that?
She looks behind her two guards. They sort of back up a little bit to give her private space. She says, "I've left the Republic government, not entirely by choice. There were some revelations about me and my family history that made it impossible for me to do my work."
It sounds like politics.
The Republic refuses to take the threat of the First Order seriously, and I've decided to take matters into my own hands. But I need help. building a military organization. We're calling ourselves the Resistance. I need you.
Meridian will actually get up and go inside, kind of upset.
Okay. All right. Meanwhile, a second ship appears on the horizon, and it looks like a transport of some kind, like a freighter, light freighter. Leia looks at it. Doesn't look like it's a threat. So she follows Meridian into the house.
All right. Inside, everything is very well kept. Yep. Dusted. Everything's clean. But the odd thing is, everything seems to be like a half-completed project of some sort. There's like one corner has an easel with some watercolor kind of paintings going on. One's half finished. In the corner is like a pottery kind of set. Again, some pots half made and things. Even though everything's like half finished, it's all in order.
Yeah, sure.
And everything's clean. So Marina will go and get herself a drink, and offer Leia one, and says, "I'm retired. You know, I came here to be with my daughter. I gave up my entire life for the army, and now you're trying to pull me back in."
All right, now wait a minute. I didn't know Marina had a daughter. Is she here on the farm?
No, but she's on the planet.
Okay. Leia says, if we don't do something, the First Order is going to be a danger to everyone in the galaxy, including your daughter. They have agents in the Republic government, so-called centrists, who are helping to finance the First Order as they rebuild their fleet in the unknown regions. You know how paralyzed the bureaucracy can be. People call me a warmonger, but Meridian...
I know. The only reason I'm even halfway thinking about this is because you're asking. Then she fills her drink up again and takes another one.
Well, you don't have to answer me right away. You can think about it. And at this point, you hear some shouting, and the two of you run out of the building as a concussion missile impacts your farmhouse and it explodes in a furious blast. The light transport that was coming in flickers, and you realize it's a holographic disguise covering an Imperial vessel, or what looks like an Imperial vessel.
All right, Marine will look at Leia. It's like, guess I've had enough of farming.
Let me show you what this particular ship looks like. It's a Sentinel-class landing craft designed to carry stormtroopers on landing actions. There could be dozens, maybe as many as 100 stormtroopers in there. It's a troop transport.
Is it actually a First Order thing, or is it older?
It really should be a First Order thing, but I don't have enough stats for the various kinds of ships they carry. But it's probably...
Well, I was just wondering if it's like a new model, or if this is something
Yeah, that's a good question. It's basically a First Order version of this ship.
Okay.
So it's probably black instead of white, because most First Order ships are. And the angles of the wings and the trefoil up top are probably more jagged and daggery looking, and they've got lots of spiky bits off of the back, because that seems to be a First Order design motif. Okay, so it's black and sharper, but it's basically the same ship. Okay, and I although I hate to stop there, we've hit our time limit, so I think that we should pause and we'll do this big battle next session. Everybody else, all of you guys, you have also landed, but you're on the other side of the rise, and you've been watching. You were watching his conversation. You're watching Organa land and talk to Meridian, and you were debating what to do when the Imperial ship appeared and blew up Meridian's ranch house. So we'll get some action there at the beginning of next session. And that'll be our cliffhanger for today. Any questions, comments, feedback, things I forgot to do? Anybody want to do anything else before we break up?
Oh, first of all, thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, this was fun.
But that's it. Okay, so everybody, take 15 XP, and you can decide what you want to spend that on between now and next game. You can buy skills and talents, and some of you have force powers to buy. Ordinarily, we wouldn't get 15 points for a 2-hour session, but I wanted to give you a few points extra. Probably be around 10 points every session. And I'll try to get your character sheets all up on the wiki. Oh, we forgot the droid. I keep wanting to call it Dash, but that's not it. It's
Daps.
Daps. Yeah, we forgot Daps. Because he should have been with Bruce all this time. Or at least on the ship. But we'll get to it. All right, anybody else? Okay, so we'll pick up with the mass battle scene as basically Leia and her soldiers run back onto their ship, which starts to take off. The Imperial ship starts to land just enough for the back door to open and all the stormtroopers and a scout walker to emerge, and we'll get a big firefight. That'll be our first big battle scene at the beginning of next week.
And we've already landed on the planet.
Yeah, you're like right over the hill. You've been watching all this. You just haven't. You didn't get involved until the Imperial ship showed up. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna hit the big red button and stop it. If you've been listening, please. Or thank you very much. Appreciate you guys all watching, and we will pick this up with episode 2 next week.